so that the solidarity movement's Lech Walesa can topple the communist government there and install market capitalism, and now Pizza Hut has customers there. It's the same thing. I mean, this whole thing, there's a really interesting evolutionary story to this in terms of how its lobbying arm came about at the end of the Cold War to continue all this. And when the USAID stuff happened, and I put out some videos and did some media, everyone was expecting when they had me on for me to be doing jumping jacks and cartwheels and touchdown dances when USAID closed. And I think especially right in the beginning, my tone was somber on it and brace and trying to say, okay, this is the right diagnosis, but you have to understand if this is not done right, how is it that, and I give this analogy a lot just because it's funny, but, Pizza Hut got 200 million new customers or whatever when the CIA and the State Department and USAID destabilized the Soviet Union. And I've played this before, but look up the Gorbachev ad. Look up the Gorbachev Pizza Hut ad. Just go to I think it's on YouTube. Just Gorbachev Pizza Hut.
Did they plan that for Pizza Hut? Like, is it that sick that they planned it specifically?
Mikhail Gorbachev participated in this Pizza Hut ad where literally Russians are talking to each other, saying, "Well, Russia's corrupt. It's corrupt. This privatization, isn't working. But we have Pizza Hut, and because the Soviet Union, when it became a free and independent market system in Russia, now Pizza Hut could penetrate its markets. Look up the Pepsi coups in Latin America. Read Private Empire and how ExxonMobil got to where it was. Everything that makes America great is ironically built on the corruption of this system. ExxonMobil did not necessarily win by being the best, most cost-efficient oil company. ExxonMobil wins because the U.S. military goes in and invades Iraq and funds ISIS to take over Syria, and moves into fields in Mexico and strikes favorable deals with Canada and blows up things like the Nord Stream pipeline in Ukraine so that Exxon and Chevron's LNG serve as Europe's markets. It's the same thing with every multinational corporation. Mm-hmm. It's whether, and we don't need to, if you, everyone can look this up if they want. If we're low on time, we don't need to,
we're good.
Go on it. But, it is just a funny ad, the Gorbachev one, because, it's all the way down to Pizza Hut. Like literally, Pizza Hut is profiteering off of the Central Intelligence Agency running tens of millions of dollars in black duffel bags to the solidarity movement of striking union workers in Poland, so that the solidarity movement's Lech Walesa can topple the communist government there and install market capitalism, and now Pizza Hut has customers there. It's the same thing. I mean, this whole thing, there's a really interesting evolutionary story to this in terms of how its lobbying arm came about at the end of the Cold War to continue all this. But another great example of this is the Pepsi, is the overthrow of Allende and there's an article in the Guardian. If you look up Pepsi, Allende, Allende, and you can go into the National Security Archives and look up the declassified documents on this.
Extreme option overthrow Allende.
Well, yeah, but if you read the Guardian article on this, it's going to be a little bit easier. If you just type in the Guardian.
All right. So add.
I would just say it's Pepsi. Yeah.
The Guardian.
Yeah. There you go.
A Marxist threat to cola sales. That one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is
1998.
No. This was relating to 1970, 1971.
Right, but the article's from
yeah.
1998.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
well,
go
if,
back
yeah,
to
yeah,
that,
go
Joe.
back to that.
Go back to that.
Yeah, and you can just X out of the ad or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm just gonna so it is a firm and continuing policy that Allende be overthrown by a coup. Please review all your present and possibly new activities to include propaganda, black operations, surfacing of intelligence or disinformation, personal contacts, or anything else your imagination can conjure. For eyes only, restricted handling, secret message to U.S. Station Chief Santiago from CIA headquarters, October 1970. And what you'll see here is, and if you scroll down, you can look at, you just kind of peruse it as I talk about it. But, and I have all the documents on this on my X account as well. So, the head of Pepsi, Don Kendall, he was the CEO and chairman, was concerned that Allende's in Chile, Pepsi had major bottling operations in Chile. And there was a concern that if Allende were to, be in power in Chile, going through with this nationalization would crush Pepsi's bottling operations. And so, Pepsi, Richard Nixon was a Pepsi lawyer. Interestingly, Kim Cheadle, the head of Secret Service, who allowed the shot on Donald Trump at the Butler rally in Pennsylvania last year.
She was head of security
She was
for
head
Pepsi.
of global security for Pepsi.
You don't say.
Well, the whole thing goes to there's a lot of...
It was a sloped roof, Mike. Come on. Come on. It was so sloped. You can't get up there.
Well, there's another very dirty side of Coke and Pepsi, and why it is that Coke and Pepsi work so closely with the CIA. Because what you'll see here is the head of Pepsi, the CEO chairman, reaches out to Henry Kissinger, and
Great guy.
And Kissinger sets up a direct meeting between Richard Helms, the head of the Central Intelligence Agency, and the head of Pepsi to jointly coordinate the overthrow of the Chilean government. This is a personal meeting. You'll actually see the meeting minutes of this in the National Security Archives. They brought in a third guy into the meeting, which was the CIA's media guy in Chile. The
media guy.
Yeah, yeah.
They had a media guy.
Yeah, for media propaganda operations, yes. So the three of them worked out, the plan. And Allende was ultimately overthrown in a coup. But, this is a personal meeting between the head of Pepsi and the head of the Central Intelligence Agency to overthrow a foreign government secretly. You're a Chilean citizen. You see people on the streets, drug gangs, marauding around with, U.S. origin machine guns and murdering your friends and family. You have no fucking idea that Pepsi and the Central Intelligence Agency are behind this, liberation movement in your country. But what I'm saying is...
I'm sorry, Chile. I don't approve.
Is every major company works with the blob to get this done, and this is part of how U.S. companies run the world.
Thank you guys for checking out this clip. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe and hit the like button on this video. It is a huge, huge help. And if you'd like to check out this clip's full podcast episode, that link is in the description below or right here. And finally, you can follow me on Instagram and X by using the links in my description below.